Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you how to add integers. Remember, integers are just positive and negative whole numbers. There's a few different rules we'll need to learn. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to use models and algorithms, which I know is a new word, but it just means a set of rules to add integers. So we're going to use number lines, counters, and some real-world examples. So go ahead and get out your binder, turn to the math section, and get ready to take some notes. Let's get started by looking at an example problem. Let's start with the one we all should know, 6 plus 2. We all know that that is 8. Let's figure out why. So let's see how that works. So the first way we can look at this is on a number line. So we always start by moving to the right. We would start on 6 since that's the first number that's listed, and it says plus 2. So if it says plus, it means we keep going, 1, 2. So we land at 8. So that's the number line example. We also can look at it with counters. The blue counters are positive, the red counters are negative. So we have a positive 6 or 6 blue counters plus a positive 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue counters in total. So I have a positive 8. And in real life, this would be like I have $6 and now I have $2 more. I have $8 in total. So now let's look at another problem that has negatives in it. So now we're going to look at some negative integers. Dun, da, da. I have negative 3 plus negative 1. So let's figure out what that equals. And let's use the number line first. So let's start by looking at it on the number line. We always want to start facing out to the right. And I have a negative 3. So I'm at negative 3, and I just put myself on negative 3. And I just, as I read my problem, put yourself on the first number, plus, I see a minus or a negative. That means turn around. So instead of facing to the right, I'm going to face the left. And then I just go one more, since that's the next line in the problem. So I'm at negative 4. The other way to model this problem would be to look at it with counters. So I have 3 negative counters. So I'll count out 1, 2, 3 negative counters. So here's my 3 negatives. I have negative 3, plus I add another negative counter. Now I want to know how many negative counters do I have in total? I have 4 negative counters, or negative 4. So in real life, this example could be modeled like this. I owe Wes $3, then he buys me a pop, so now I owe him 1 more. So think about it like this. When we were looking at vocab words in math, 1 more would mean add. But since it's I owe him 3, that's a negative 3, and then I owe him 1 more, that's adding a negative 1 to my debt. This next problem says Brandon is swimming 3 feet underwater, so already he's at negative 3. Then he swims down an additional, that means add. But if I'm swimming down, that means I'm going to the negative. So I'm swimming down an additional 1 foot. So these are both ways to model negative 3 plus negative 1. Let's look at another type of addition problem. You might see one that says positive 5 plus negative 4. And I put that in parentheses, but that doesn't mean to multiply because I do have an addition sign here. So I just put it in parentheses to let you know this is a negative 4. So 5 plus negative 4. So we'll start with the number line. I always put myself on the number line at the first number. So I'm at 5. Then it says plus and then minus or negative. When I see a minus or a negative, that means turn around. Since I'm already facing to the right, I'm going to go ahead and turn around to the left. And then it says just go 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm at positive 1. So that's a way to model it with a number line. With the counters, I have a positive 5. Then I add a negative 4. So I'm going to put in 4 negative counters. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here's what we know. Here's what we know about positives and negatives. When I have a positive and a negative, that cancels out. They are 0 pairs. Positive 1 and negative 1 make 0. So I'm going to go through it. I'm just going to cancel out all my 0 pairs. So that makes 0, that makes 0, and that makes 0. So all of this is gone. I'm left with a positive 1 as my answer. So this is why 5 plus negative 4 equals 1. Let's look at it in a real life example. Sydney earns $5. When you earn money, you're adding money. And then she spends $4. So she earns 5, a positive 5, and then she spends 4. So you can put plus negative 4, or I bet a lot of you would think of this as 5 minus 4. Guess what? Those are the exact same things. The second example says Bree climbs 5 steps. So she goes up, she ascends. She's at a positive 5, and means add. Then she jumps down 4. So go down 4. She should be on the first step now. So 5 plus negative 4 is the same thing as 5 minus 4. Plus negative means minus. So let's look at one more example problem that you might see before we start getting into the algorithm. We could have a negative plus a positive. So we have a negative 7 plus positive 2. So we'll start on the number line. We're always facing to the right first, and I'm going to start on the very first number that's listed. So I start on negative 7, facing the right, and it says keep going, 2. So I'm going to go ahead and just go 1, 2, and now I'm at negative 5. With the counters, I start out with negative 7 red counters. Then it says add, which means add more, and I have a positive 2, so I'm going to add the 2 positive counters. So I have 1, 2. Now I want to look at it and cancel out any 0 pairs. So anything that makes 0, I'm going to cancel out. So here's a 0 pair, because negative 1 and 1 make 0. Those are opposites. And then that's a 0 pair. So they're gone. Now I just want to count how many are left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative counters are left. So negative 7 plus 2 equals negative 5. Let's look at a real world example. Connor is $7 in debt. That means that he has negative 7. He owes $7. He's $7 short or in the hole, but he earns $2. So that would mean plus 2 gives him a little bit better than where he was at. He's at negative 5, but he's still negative for this one. AK misses 7 questions on a test, so he's lost 7 points, but he gets 2 bonus points. So he's going to add 2. So how many did he miss at the end of the test? He only missed 5. So now I want to go ahead and look at some notes, and I want to give you one more strategy to solve these. So if you have this, go ahead and pull this out. If not, just try to keep track of this on a piece of paper. It says integers can also be added and subtracted using an algorithm or a set of rules. So algorithm just means a set of rules. Here's some rules. If the two values have the same sign, then add and use the same sign. So for example, 6 plus 5 is 11. That's like normal. Negative 6 plus negative 5 is a negative 11. So you add like normal, 6 plus 5, and since they both have the same sign, you keep that sign. So this is just a rule you can use, but you can also think about it like we did with the counters, the number line, or the real world examples. The next rule is if the signs are different, then subtract and take the sign of the number with the greatest absolute value. So let me break that apart. So let's look at this example. 6 plus negative 5. So it says if the signs are different, so you have a positive 6 and negative 5, just says subtract. So 6 minus 5 is 1. And take the sign of the number with the greatest absolute value. So the absolute value of 6 is 6, and the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. 6 is greater than 5, and 6 is positive. So I'm going to keep it positive. For the next example, I have a negative 6 plus a positive 5. So they're different signs. So I can subtract 6 minus 5 is 1. And then take the absolute value of each number. The absolute value of negative 6 is 6. The absolute value of 5 is 5. 6 is bigger than 5. And this 6 is negative. So it would be a negative answer. So if that's just one rule you can use to solve these, you can also think about it with a number line, with counters, or with a real world example. So now we're going to practice adding integers using the algorithm or the models that we looked at to start with. This says that the challenge is to find the sum of each column. If you've solved them all correctly, then the sum will match. So a column means it's going down. So a column is going down. So I'm going to do all of column A for you. And then you're going to do B, C, and D on your own, and we're going to check it when we have class. So let's just look at column A. Let's think about it with an example on a number line. So I'm going to pull that up. Negative 9 plus 6 on a number line. So if I have a negative 9 plus 6, I start at the negative 9. I always start at the first number. And then I look at my problem, and it says, okay, keep going, 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm at negative 3. So this equals negative 3. That was just one way to solve this. You could do it any other way you choose. Let's look at 4 plus 7. I always count, when I think about positive numbers, I always think about just counting apples. I've got 7 apples plus 4 apples, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can count on your fingers. You can count using little tallies. But we know there are 11 apples. So let's try negative 7 plus 12 using the algorithm. So it says if the signs are different, then subtract. So we'll start out by subtracting. So we'll do 12 minus 7, which is, because we can't do 7 minus 12, we'll have to do 12 minus 7, which is 5. And then it says take the sign of the number with the greatest absolute value. So I'll take the absolute value of both these numbers. That just means what's the positive version of the number. 12 is the bigger number, and it's positive. So it'll be a positive 5. So this is an example using the algorithm. And then let's look at the very last one, negative 9 plus 9. So I have 9 negatives and I have 9 positives. And what I want to do whenever I have any negatives and positives together is just cancel out any opposites or zero pairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they all cancel. How many am I left with? 0. I don't have any left. So to check to see if I'm right, it says find the sum of each column. If you have solved them all correctly, then the sum will match. So negative 3 plus 11 plus 5 plus 0 should give me a sum of 13. So let's try that. So this is my problem. It's a 4-step addition problem. So I know that looks a little scary, but let's go ahead and just take off one thing. If we add 0, we're adding nothing. So I can go ahead and take that away. Now it's just a 3-step problem. So when we do a problem like this in math, we want to go one step at a time. So let's just start from left to right. Negative 3 plus 11. This is the same thing as 11 minus 3. 11 take away 3 is 11. 10, 9, 8. So I'm left with 8. Then I want to bring down the plus 5. So everything starts turning into some sort of triangle whenever I'm doing this. It's an upside down triangle whenever I'm solving an expression. 8 plus 5, when I'm just counting, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So my answer would be 13. That matches the sum of the column. So that's how I can check and know that I'm right. So what you're going to do is go ahead and try these by yourself. And if there's any that you have an issue with, you can reach out to me and we'll be able to check these. All right, guys, that's it. If you made it to the end of this video, please put your favorite kind of ice cream in the comments. Mine is Superman, cookies and cream, cookie dough. Oh my goodness, I like all of them. So today we went over adding integers. All we did was add integers. There's 4 different types of ways we can do it, and they are through number lines, algorithms, counters, or real-world examples. So we've done all of those models today, so now you should be able to do that too. So now you should go back to the calendar, click any other assignments you have left for the day. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye!